Welcome in, everybody. A Football Friday edition of Birds 365 here, coming off the open practice down at the Linc. Johnny Mac was down live and in person last night at Lincoln Financial Field. John, how you doing on this Friday morning?
I'm up, and it's like a game day, like
a
game day.
Nice late night show, and we're right back in the morning. You're right; it reminded me of Eagles season.
Yeah, and the Eagles kind of. Nick Sirianni talked about it, dress it up. They even, do pregame warm-ups like it's a game, and they try to use that Lincoln Financial Field practice as a communication test between the coaches. Made a big deal about that as far as their communication. So, yeah, and a good day for the offense. Good night for the offense. Conversely, since you're playing each other, not so much for the defense.
Yeah, well, we'll talk a little bit about that. We'll talk about Jalen Hurts. We'll talk about Nakobe Dean, see what the update is on him. Scott,
not his best day.
Not his best day. So we will talk about all that. We had a couple people in the chat last night, John, after you checked out, that were giving us some updates from what they saw. They were guys who were down there at the stadium. So a lot of good stuff from them. I got some great news this morning, everybody, before we get deep into our Eagles content. As you can see on your screen, powered by BetUS, Birds 365 is proud to welcome a new sponsor to the show, BetUS. I'll tell you a lot more about BetUS later on in the show, but we are proud to have them a part of our network. We're going to be using BetUS, John, to live up and do and follow along up close and personal with our Saquon Barkley jersey giveaway all season long. They got all the prop bets. They got all the player props. They got the Eagles bets. They got all of it on there on BetUS. So we're going to be using BetUS every single week to do a community over or under on Saquon Barkley. And we're going to use it to follow along, and that will go hand in hand with our jersey giveaways this year of Saquon Barkley. If you don't know about the jersey giveaway, every time Saquon eclipses 125 all-purpose yards, we will be giving away a Saquon Barkley jersey to a channel member. Must be a channel member. So we appreciate all you guys for being in here. I'll tell you a little bit more about BetUS at the end of the segment here. But we appreciate them for being a new sponsor on the network. We'll be using them all season long to bet on the Philadelphia Eagles. So good stuff there. Johnny Mac, bring us inside the practice last night. Set the stage. It was nearly 50,000 strong there at the Lincoln Financial Field. Other than the offense looking really good, what was the atmosphere? What was the energy like in the stadium for an August 1st night?
Well, yeah, I mean, it is a practice. So anytime the Eagles said nearly, that's how they described it, nearly 50,000. I don't know. They might have been fudging a little bit, but there were a lot of people there. And it's always amazing when people come out for a practice like that. And, part of it is that the Eagles don't have open practices. Some other teams do around the NFL, certainly a lot more. So part of it is the lack of it. And this is the only opportunity for a large group to get to see the team before they start the season. But it's pretty impressive when you see a big stadium filled up like that for a practice. So, and Nick talked about that. That's a testament to the fan base, and everybody knows how passionate this fan base is about this particular team. That's why this show exists. Many others exist because people are so interested in the Philadelphia Eagles. So no surprise that they showed up the way they did show up. And I mean, it's pretty impressive. That's all you can say about it.
Yeah, it really is. Unbelievable fan base. We see it here every day in our chat with the Eagles faithful, who are just such great fans. It's part of what makes this city. We are passionate people. We love hard. We hate hard. We do everything the hard way, and I love that about us. We do things deeply and passionately, and following the Birds is one of the things we do the most passionately. So good to see everybody out there last night. I was happy to see we had a couple people from our chat, Johnny Mac, who were down there. Johnny Mac was down there. John, let's go to on the field work. What stood out last night? I heard a lot of Mekhi Becton was looking really good. I heard Jalen Hurts continues his training camp onslaught of just just torching the defense. What stood out on the field last night from you from a bigger perspective there?
Yeah, well, it starts with the offense was just lights out right off the bat. Touchdown, touchdown, touchdown in competitive periods. First team against first team, second team against second team, and then first team against first team again. Dallas Goedert, big shot to A.J. Brown. Dallas Goedert had 3 touchdowns on the night. It was his night. 2-point conversion at the end and situational football session where it was down 8, needed to convert. He got the 2-point conversion. The end of the game situation. Kenny Gainwell was just tremendous. Broke N'Kobe Dean's ankles on one, almost like a crossover Allen Iverson type move in the open field. Then he scorched him later in the practice on a wheel route, and those situationals when you had to score the touchdown before you got the 2-point conversion. The touchdown was Kenny's. He had a tremendous day. And then, as I said, because you're practicing against each other, if the offense is that good, well, you got some issues with the defense. You mentioned Mekhi Becton. There was one block where he's just wiped out the entire, basically walled off the entire defensive line. And earlier, the second team, Fred Johnson and Trevor Keegan did the same thing as a combo block. So, now that the pads have come on and you see some of the physicality with that offensive line, and remember, Landon Dickerson didn't even practice. Yeah, it was all good from the offensive perspective, and then I guess you just kind of, hide from the defense for a day, cross your fingers. I don't think Vic Fangio is going to be happy with that performance.
What stuck out that the defense was so poor? Was it just
terrible?
Is so
terrible. The linebackers I'm talking. The line people are going to have an issue with these linebackers. They're not good. And when the defensive line is not firing on all cylinders, it becomes even a bigger problem. And that's what was happening. So they were getting wiped out, and then all of a sudden, you get to those linebackers who are got to deal with blocks and bodies on them, and that's not a good situation. And then we've talked, and I'm still the young corners on this team still have tremendous promise, and I think it's going to be fine long term. But I've said it pretty consistently: you're going to have some hiccups early, and you're going to have some hiccups early. And that's starting to show up with all of them. Yeah, Kaylee Ringo didn't have a good practice. Isaiah Rodgers probably back ahead of him for the time being, but he hasn't been tremendous past couple days. Even Quinyon, it's been all good, but he wasn't great yesterday. So tough to find a silver lining with the defense yesterday, other than the first interception on the last play of the 6th practice. Kind of a desperation throw. It was that situation where the clock is winding down. You're down 8. You got to score a touchdown, 2-point conversion. Same thing for the second team that the first team was able to accomplish. And Kenny Pickett was in a desperation, kind of heaved it up there, and Eli Ricks intercepted it. So at least they got an interception, I guess.
Yeah, I guess that's the one that is some good news there. John, let's talk about N'Kobe Dean. He's the guy that seems to be getting a lot of talk after last night. Is it time to sound the alarm bells on N'Kobe Dean? Is he not going to be a contributor on this football team this year?
No, he's got to be. He had a bad night. People have bad nights, and they're going to have bad practices. And Nick's talked about this at the
I'm
start.
waiting for the first good practice from the guy, to be honest with you.
Well, he hasn't been bad until this day. He was,
Can you say the same on the other side, though? He hasn't been bad, but he hasn't really been good either.
No, but there's an ebb and flow to training camp, as Nick said. Too much ebb for the offense, too little ebb for the defense. And when the defense has been okay, it's generally been the defensive front. But look, you don't have other options. unless you want to get Jeremiah Trotter up to speed, unless you want to get Ben Van Sumeren up to speed, you got to cross your fingers and hope Nakobe Dean turns into a player. People are hanging their hat on Devin White and Zach Bond. I always say, just look at the contracts, man. Zach's making 1 year of the veteran minimum with a chance for incentives to make a little bit more. Devin White's making it's got a 1 year prove it deal for $3.5 million with incentives. Nobody's beating down the door for these players. Nobody. So you can talk yourself into anything in the NFL, but my concern is when those pads came on and they're on, and again, Landon's not even out there.
Landon and Lane Johnson were both not out there.
Well, Lane played. Lane was in, by the way, Landon's jersey, so that confused.
Oh, yeah, that was a little interesting. Yeah, that's funny.
But he's not playing a lot at this stage. I mean, they're trying to be cautious, and But Mekhi Becton's a perfect example. I mean, Mekhi's just a massive human being who obviously has significant talent, but he's had some issues with the Jets from a technique and fundamental standpoint. But when he gets his hands on people, he can really out physical them for obvious reasons. Yeah, I mean, if Howie Roseman, Vic Fangio, whomever, Nick Sirianni is watching that practice tape, and I'm sure they've already done it twice, 3 times by now. Maybe not Vic. Maybe he threw it in the trash. They can't be happy with their linebackers. Can't be. I refuse to believe it.
We'll see what they end up doing. I don't know if there's anybody out there. I don't know if they would make a move at this point in the offseason. I know that you can make moves, but you're not really, you're more in the.
Hey, I sent you a message with the tweet of the Saquon Barkley Lime jersey. If you want to, I don't know if you can throw that up there.
Yeah, I can.
But for I don't know if we can get our hands on that jersey. But there's an example of a Saquon jersey.
There you go. This is a special one, John. I'll bring this up now. This right here is a special jersey. Let me.
Yeah, I don't know if they even sell those, to be honest.
I don't think they do, but I said last night, it's funny, and I didn't want people to give me shit for it, but I said last night, there's the look at the jersey with the lime green letters. I know it's for a great cause, so I didn't want to knock it. I didn't love the combination of the greens, but you seem to like it. Other people did seem to like it as well.
No, I can't stand those numbers. I can't stand the camouflage, but because on the white jerseys that you can't see the numbers. I mean, it's so difficult.
But it is it's for the autism. So it's a great cause. I'm not going to knock a jersey over it. It's a great cause. Obviously, they raised a lot of money last night from all of our fans who were down there. So good stuff there. But nice there's a good look at Saquon. Johnny Mack was up close and personal. And you can see his tweet on the side, everybody. Update, peer pressured into a dog mentality and went downstairs. Johnny Mack is nursing the strained calf like the true champion that he is, getting down there on the field with the calf. So good stuff from John McMullen. We got Paul Domowitch in the green room. We're going to get to our first commercial timeout. We'll bring up Paul Domowitch later on in the show in hour number 2. We're going to have Ed Kratz, who is also down there for the open practice with John McMullen. So we'll get his take on what he's seen, not just yesterday, but also all throughout training camp, his take on Nakobe Dean, his take on Mekhi Becton, his take on the offense, and a whole lot more. Let's go back to our sponsor before we get to our break. I welcomed in everybody at the start of the show today, a new sponsor of the program. We are now powered by BetUS. We thank BetUS for joining on the network. Eagles fans, Birds 365 fans, are you looking for a new sports book this season? BetUS is the answer, and JAKIB Sports, Birds 365, is proud to announce our new football partnership for the upcoming season with BetUS. Right now, everybody, you can go to BetUS and receive a 125% sign-up bonus up to $2,000. And I'm a big fan of this one, up to 200% in a crypto deposit sign-up bonus. So if you're depositing crypto, you get 200 So great stuff there. If it's good for former Birds quarterback Michael Vick, it's definitely good for JAKIB Sports. I'll give you guys a look down in the description of our video. So if you're watching on YouTube, down in the description of our video, there is a link in there that gives you to take you right to BetUS. Make sure you go through that link, as it credits JAKIB Sports for sending you to BetUS. Let me guys show you a real quick look at the site. When you click on that link, what you will see. So you will see this with BetUS. You can see Eagles quarterback, former Eagles quarterback there, Michael Vick. This is the page you will see. You can click the link, click bet now, sign up, get all your stuff ready. And we're going to be doing it all season long, everybody. We are going to be doing the prop bets all season long. We're especially going to be doing the Saquon Barkley, which we have announced our jersey giveaway. We're going to be doing our jersey giveaway every week with Saquon Barkley every time he goes over 125 yards. So we'll be doing that all on BetUS. So make sure you guys get over there today. Go to betus.com.pa. That's betus.com.pa. Good stuff from BetUS. Proud to have them a part of the network. We appreciate them, and we appreciate all of you guys. Now I'm going to run a commercial break. We'll be back with Paul Domowitch coming up next.
Michael Vick at BetUS.com. Catch an incredible 125% sign-up bonus on your first 3 deposits, plus 10% gambler's insurance. BetUS, my online sportsbook and casino.
If you missed any of today's show on the JAKIB Media channel, listen to the podcast on your way home. Available on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify.